Welcome. Today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a look at how to figure out how much something is worth. Let's say you're out at a thrift store, or let's say you're out at a garage sale, or maybe you just find something interesting in your own garage. You're digging through maybe your old collection and you want to gain a better understanding of how much is this worth, what does this sell for, how quickly can I expect it to sell. These are all things that we're going to cover in today's video. Specifically just using eBay. Most of the principles that we're going to talk about on eBay, you'll be able to apply to most other platforms. However, we'll just use eBay as a kind of home base for this video. Now, what I'm going to do is, in a second, I am going to go into a screen share and I'll pull up a couple items together and we'll actually go through one by one how we would comp it out, what it is that we're looking for, what the characteristics of each item that we're looking for when we're comping an item, and then from there looking at what we can find out about recent sales volume in order to make sure that we have accurate information when we're pricing it for ourselves. So the first item that we're actually going to be looking at is this item right over here. This is a Gorham silver-plated gravy boat. This isn't anything particularly valuable. I found it at a thrift store. I think it was like $3. And I'll just kind of ruin the surprise and I'll say that I expect it to sell somewhere in like the 15 to 25 range. But there's a couple things. It might be a little bit hard to see it on the camera, but you can see the maker mark on the bottom there. It says Gorham. Usually with something like this, you're going to want something that has a maker mark on the bottom. So from there, you know that what the company is. If it doesn't have a company name, you're going to have a really hard time tracking it down unless you really, really know what you're doing. In terms of the title, that's just going to come from experience. Like, I've sold these kinds of things before, although it's not what I normally sell. But a gravy boat is kind of the accurate title for this. And the fact that it's silver plated, you can just kind of tell from the patina. Again, that's the kind of thing it might take a little bit of time. If you wanted to maybe watch another video that breaks down exactly how you can tell whether or not something is silver plated. Usually it will kind of, especially if it's dirty, it'll have this kind of gritty look to it that it almost looks like it's bronzing, but you can tell that it will clean off really well. These were actually pretty dirty when I got them, and then I got a cleaner. But we're not talking about that. Let's take a look on eBay and see if we can find out how much a Gorham silver plated gravy boat sells for and how you can find that information out for yourself. So right in front of us here we have eBay. If you go to ebay.com, this is going to be what it looks like for you. And what we're going to do is we're going to type in Gorham silver plated gravy boat. You can see it's auto-filling, so there's probably some volume. I haven't checked this yet, so it's been a little bit since I checked. But you can see right over here that there's 79 results. That's something that you do want to keep in mind when you're comping stuff, as to how many actually are listed, because we're going to compare that in a second to how many are sold. Now, I think this right over here is actually my listing, but the thing that you're going to be able to do is when you're looking at these different listings, you can see there's kind of a wide range of pricing. And this actually is what it looks like before it gets cleaned. You can tell that kind of silver-plated patina. But you can see a lot of the ones that are listed are kind of somewhere in that like 25, 20, 30. There's a couple that, there's a set right here where it's selling for more. This person's pricing it pretty aggressively. But the problem is that with this right here, we're actually just looking at what people are asking for it. We don't actually have any data right now about what has this item sold for in the past. So in order to do that, we're going to have to scroll down on the left here to sold items. And you're going to click that. You're going to toggle that. And you'll see over here that there are 4 results that have sold within the past 90 days. Now, this is important. When you search on eBay, it will only show you sold items from within the past 90 days. There are tools like WorthPoint and some other tools that will allow you to see longer sales history. WorthPoint is kind of a broad market one. There are ones, for example, in the card market and the collectibles market that will allow you to see older sales. But within eBay itself, you're only able to see sales for the past 90 days unless you're like signed up as a seller. And in their seller tools, I believe they give you access to to a larger catalog. But for this video, we're not really going to focus too much on that. We can see that there were 79 listed and that there's 4 sold. The 79 listed that are active right now, those could have been listed at any time. But in the past 90 days, 4 of these have sold. We see that one over here sold for best offer. That's why it's crossed out. $34.99 plus $7.99 shipping. We could see over here, this one sold for $25 free shipping. We could see this one right here sold for $16.99 plus $17 shipping. And then this one sold on auction for 99 cents plus $12.55 shipping. Now, usually auction is going to sell underneath fixed price. That's kind of a general rule with eBay. Not always. Sometimes if it's something that's very scarce, the auctions can sell above fixed price. But oftentimes, usually, auctions are going to sell below. So when I'm comping, I'm probably going to ignore this. First of all, there's not a lot of sales volume. But second of all, if there's multiple sales at a higher price point, but there's one sale here that is on auction, I'm just probably going to ignore that because the market is telling me over here there's multiple people that are paying somewhere in like the $16.99 plus shipping to the $25, maybe $30 range. So with that, there's one other thing that I really do want to emphasize, because remember how I said that, and this is something that's going to be really important for you as a seller. This is something that I've actually gotten better at, and I probably, noticing this, wouldn't have bought this item even though it would only cost me about $3. So what you can see here is that there's 79 active listings for this kind of item, this brand, silver plated, the gravy boat. But going back, there's only 4 sold. So that tells you that there's, I'm not going to do the math, but there's maybe a roughly 5% sell-through rate for this item in every 90 days. So out of the 79 that are listed, only 4 have sold. So that's something that you really do want to be mindful of when you're buying, because you really do make your money when you buy. So you want to be mindful of, if you're trying to have inventory that moves kind of quickly, you want to make sure that you're looking for items that have a higher sell-through rate. Maybe your cutoff is 30, 40%. Maybe you really want to make sure that things move really quickly, so you're only buying items that have over 50 or 60 or 70% sell-through rate. But what I'll say is, with this item being at what looks like to be about a 5% sell-through rate, this is something where, unless you are very patient as a seller and you just want to have a lot of inventory and you want to have a lot of listings, and you understand that some of your stuff will go quickly and some of your stuff will go slower, and you're willing to play that game, this is something where, if you're more focused on moving inventory a little bit quicker, you might want to avoid items that have that lower sell-through rate. We'll look at sell-through rate again. You'll notice that'll be a theme throughout. But for now, let's take a look at our next item. So the next item that I have here is these pair of hiking boots. I'll just use one for the example. It's a brand called Topo. I don't know too much about this. One of the actual reasons that this stood out to me pretty quickly was because it has the Vibram sole, which usually is just something that kind of comes with higher quality shoes. I think I paid $4 for these. This is the Trail Venture 2, and it is a woman's size 8.5. It's a really high quality boot. You could tell so that it is. It's got the good hiking tread. It's in great condition. There's a little bit of staining, but there's nothing really fundamentally wrong with this shoe. So if we're back on the eBay homepage right now and we type in Topo Trail Venture 2 Women's 8.5. You want to kind of toe the line when you're comping, where you're specific enough that you're actually finding the item, but you're not too specific. So for example, if this was something where I searched it by size and I didn't find it at all, I might broaden my search and remove the size and see, oh, what are other people paying? 8.5, it's a little bit on the large size for women's shoes, but it's kind of right in that range of where most women fall. They'll usually fall in between about a 6 to an 8.5. So what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to say, okay, well, if I see the 6s are selling for X amount, this is a slightly more unique size, but I know there's slightly less buyers for this size, so I might want to go ahead and price this at or around where the market is. But as you can see right now, there are 11 of these listed. This exact shoe, this exact size, there's a couple different colorways. And you can see, I actually actually some of these are brand new. And that's something you want to be mindful of as well. When you're comping, you want to make sure that you're paying attention to what the condition is. You can see these right here are brand new, these are brand new, these are brand new, these are brand new, these are brand new. These right here are pre-owned. There's somebody asking 126. These are pre-owned 82. But again, remember, these are all prices of what people are asking for them, not necessarily what sales history says they've sold for. So again, we're going to scroll back down over here, and we're going to go to sold items. And you can see in the past 90 days, this item is sold twice. It sold once pre-owned for best offer of $69.95. $69.95. And I'm actually going to widen this a little bit. I'll get rid of the size, as I was talking about, because I want to have a little bit more info than just 2 sales. So you can see here, in the past 90 days, there's actually been 20, all sizes. There's been 20 sales of this, and pre-owned, $39.95 plus shipping. Brand new, we're going to ignore. Over here, you can see men's size 14 sold for $89.95. It's a little bit high. You can see over here, this sold best offer, size 8. You can see right here, this is a men's size right here, but it sold for $79.97. So it seems like a lot of the pre-owned right here, pre-owned $69.99. It's different colorways, pre-owned $59.99. It seems like a lot of the pre-owned stuff is selling kind of right around that $50 to $80 range. So from there, you can go ahead and you can price it how you want. You could price it maybe at around $59.95. You could have it plus shipping or free shipping, however you want to price it. But if you want it to be right in the middle of the market, $59.95, $69.95, $79.95, etc., depending on how you wanted to price it. But again, this is kind of how you're able to identify how much your item can sell for and how much you want to. Now, what I will say is this listing that was at the top here, when we put in the woman's 8.5, this is my listing right here. I have it at $49.95. I got these for $3.95. I wasn't getting too much visibility. I think that they're in great condition, and so I would like them to go. So I priced them a little bit more aggressively. And I would expect that they'll be gone probably by the end of the weekend. But that's the kind of thing that you can use actual data rather than just making assumptions. You know, especially a lot of people when they comp stuff, as you saw, there were people who were asking $120, $130 for a pre-owned pair of these, and the market just has zero interest in paying that. The market pays around $50 to $80 for these in pre-owned condition. I mean, you can get them brand new on eBay or elsewhere for $100 to $120. Why would you pay that for pre-owned, even if they're in great condition? So next up, we're going to actually take a look at the collectibles market. Specifically, we're going to look at sports cards. I have 2 examples here. One is a very common card. It's one that I'm going to use to just show you how you can actually look up pretty much any card. And then from there, I'll actually show you how you can look up something that's a little bit more specific as well. So the first card that I have here is a Chris Sale. He's a pitcher. He was likely going to be on a Hall of Fame path. I think there's some questions about whether or not in his later career, because of injuries and just not being on the right teams, whether or not that's actually going to happen. But this is a Chris Sale rookie card. It's from Topps. And usually rookie cards are going to be the most valuable. This is not a parallel, or this is not a variety of any kind. This is just his base Topps rookie card. Now, there's a few things that you want to look for when you're actually identifying this card. So the first is going to be the brand. You can, on the front, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see, you can see Topps in the corner there, but also on the back, you'll be able to see a lot of the information about the brand. Another thing that's really going to be important is the number. So this is card number 65 of the set. And then also, you're going to want to look up the year. So this is from 2011 Topps. So now that I have all that information, we can go back into eBay. So we're going to type in 2011 Topps Chris Sale 65, because it was card number 65. And most cards will have this kind of standard format. There'll be some exceptions, but generally speaking, you'll be able to identify the brand, the year, and the card number in the set pretty easily just by looking at the back. So what we see here is that there's 267 of these listed. It's not particularly rare. There's probably a lot more. He's not, a super collectible player where his cards will sell automatically. So there's a lot of people, with it being at this price range, they're just not listing them. So you can see listed, people have it $5.99, buy it now, $5 best offer, free shipping, $1.99 free shipping, $1.99 on bids, $1.99 free shipping, etc. So that's the listed price, and then you go over here and you can look at the sold price. And remember, what was the number that we had there? 267 listed. And this is actually, even if you don't know anything about the collectability of a player or the collectability or the popularity of an item. Like for those shoes, I didn't necessarily know them, but I saw that when they sold for a decent price. But I can take a look here and I can see that this item, the Chris Sale card, has sold 102 times. So it's got about a 40% sell-through rate. It sold 102 times in the past 90 days. So of the 267 active listings right now, it sold 102 times in the past 90 days. Now, some of these listings include variations. You can see like the Cognac or the Diamond Anniversary, etc. So not all of these sales are going to be of just this card on its own. You can see there's a graded version right over here. PSA 10 sold for best offer of $29.99. Probably went for around 15 or 20 if I had to guess. So not all of those are going to be from the sale, but you can see that this is a player where if you price things appropriately, the card itself will likely eventually sell. So you might be open to listing it, but you can see on auction it went for 54 cents plus $1 shipping. Not really getting too excited about that. You can see here $2.99 best offer accepted. They probably took $1 or $1.50, $2 plus $1 shipping, $1.99 free shipping. So this is not necessarily a high dollar item by any metrics, and it's probably something that you don't necessarily want to put a ton of energy into listing unless maybe you just want to make sure that you have consistent listing activity, so you end up listing it anyways. But that gives you an idea of how you're able to comp out something in the collectible space. I would say Funko Pops are really similar because they not only have the name of the item, they also have usually a number on the Funko Pop. So you can type in Funko Pop Superman 379 and then it will pull up that exact one, and you can do the same thing. You can just look at the solds and you can comp it out. Next up, we're going to look at something that's a little bit more specific in the sports card space. So this right over here is a Jaden Ivey card. He's a rookie on the Detroit Pistons. If you know anything about me, you know that I'm a Pistons fan, and that's probably where my primary collections are. So this is from a set called Donruss Elite, and you can see in the corner it's numbered to 99. And so then you can see the Donruss Elite in that top corner, but then on the back you can also see the set, and the number in the set is number 243. With all that information, you can start to search for the card. So let's go ahead and plug that information in. So, and also one more thing, he was a rookie this year, so it would be 2022. If we go back to eBay and if we type in first the year, 2022, then the player, Jaden Ivey, then the product, Donruss Elite, blue out of 99, and you can see that there are 0 listed. So this is kind of one of the things also, if you're only looking at listings and you're not looking at solds, you might see this and be like, oh, well, that's not valuable, nobody's listed it. But then if you look and you go to the sold items, you could see that there's actually been 8 sales in the past 90 days. It sold for $35, it sold for $19, sold for $149, sold for $99, sold for $32.75, best offer on $149, $112, best offer on $295. So with that, you're actually able to recognize how much something sold for, and you could actually also see that when the product first came out, this product came out just a couple months ago, it was selling for a premium, but now that it's been out for a little bit, it's actually on auction sold significantly lower. You can see here it sold on auction for $33. Over here it sold on auction for for 20. Over here, it's sold on auction for 35. So what you might want to do is if you're listing this, you can take that awareness of the fact that it has been selling higher on best offer, and you can list it high because there's none listed. So you could list this at 149 or maybe even 199 now that there's no other listed, and then use that as an anchor for you to take a best offer of maybe a 75 or 125 or whatever the number it is that you actually end up taking. So this is something that you also want to keep in mind when you're comping things. Okay, we're going to do one last item because there's one category that we haven't really looked at yet. Although we did look at shoes, but we haven't really looked at clothes. So this right here, I'm not going to unfold it fully, but this right here is a shirt. It's by Banana Republic. It is the Banana Republic Custom 078 Wash Shirt Grand Fit Men's Size XL. Now, what I will say is, if you're buying for resale, especially if you're buying at like thrift stores, etc., if you're just going to like a Goodwill where you're going to end up paying $8 for this shirt, it's not going to work for you. But if you can find this shirt for $1 or $2 and sell it for $14.95, $17.95 free shipping, you'll probably do okay. Now, the thing is though, again with the mall brands, and I've said this in a previous video, but I don't mind repeating it, you really want to look for the sub-brands of that mall brand. So if I found a Banana Republic shirt that didn't have any other categorization, I would not buy it because it's too broad. In fact, let's look at that together. Right over here, what we have is Banana Republic Men's Size XL Dress Shirt. There's 810 results. The reality is that with that many results, you're going to need a little bit more specificity, especially when you take a look and you go to the solds and you see there's only 81 sold. It's only got a 10% sell-through rate, but check this out when you add in the specificity. Now, we know that this shirt here is from a sub-brand called the Grant Fit. So if I type in Grant, and we see that now there's only 26 results, and there's 10 sold. You see, now we're looking at actually like a 40% sell-through rate in the past 90 days. That's not too bad. It's not great. If you're willing to be patient, you could probably do okay. And you can see that these are selling $17.99. Best offer, free shipping. $7.50 plus shipping. $8 plus shipping. $12.95 plus shipping. $10.95 plus shipping. $12.95 plus shipping. You know, you're kind of basically looking at that roughly like $12.95 to $17.95 all in after shipping kind of range is what people are comfortably paying for that. Now again, if it was just a Banana Republic Men's Size XL dress shirt, you never would show up in the search. But this is a specific sub-brand that people do seem to like. The thing is, you don't need to know any of this when you start. Because if you're paying attention to stuff like sell-through rate, how many are listed versus how many have sold in the past 90 days? If you're paying attention to buying things that are easily identifiable and you're making sure to check the item before you purchase, you don't do that once you get home. You don't comp when you get home. You comp before you spend your money. You have to make sure that you know what you're buying. Now I'm in a position where I know something like a Banana Republic slim fit shirt or a pair of Sorel hiking boots or whatever it is the item is. I've sold enough items now where I kind of have a feel where I don't have to comp every single thing. If I can get this item for $1 or $2, I know it might not sell the fastest, but it's a good thing to have in my store. And so that's the kind of thing where if you're able to kind of build up that mental library of information over time, you'll do pretty well and you'll be able to speed this process up. But you don't really need to know anything going in. All you really need is your phone. And in fact, before we stop, I want to actually pull out my phone real quick. It's going to be a little bit challenging for me to do this. But what I'll do is I'll just actually look up that same exact shirt on my phone. Banana Republic Grant Men's XL Dress Shirt. It might be a little bit hard to see, but what you'll be able to do is you can see right there on eBay is the listings that come up for this item. Now what you'll want to do is you'll want to go to the corner over here where it says filters, right above my finger. You hit filter, and then you scroll down. You hit show more right there. scroll all the way down to where it says sold items, and you just toggle that on. And then you hit that right there, and it said actually 19 items have sold in the past 90 days for this item. And so from that, you can, on the fly, all you need to do is type the thing into your phone and figure out exactly, 1, how many are listed, 2, how many have sold in the past 90 days, which gives you an idea of the sell-through rate, and 3, you can figure out exactly how much you can price it for, so you can in real time check whether or not this price of what the item is at right now makes sense for you to purchase it and get it on your store. Anyways, I hope that this video has been helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them below. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.